when a series ends up being as large as or even just fairy tale, not even looking at series that have more content to them, more chapters, and just kind of like expanding over a much larger horizon of lore and information. The authors are bound to forget some things. They're only human. It's easy to build up something like on the back burner in a chapter and then completely forget about it because you have other things on your mind. Understandable, but this is one thing that Hiramishima I've always been very curious of, because not only did he bring it into the series, but he expanded upon it in a little Q&A in one of the volume extras, but then brought more into it in the Avatar arc right before we got into right before the Alvarez arc. Though I always counted the Avatar kind of like a prelude, kind of like how the Sun Villages to Tartarus, but whatever. So that being the Yakuma race. So when we had Minerva showed that she spoke this other language. She would say it out, and then we'd see it in both like how she says it in a language we can understand, but also in its own script, and then a translation of it beneath that. And that was a very odd thing for it because it just came out of nowhere. There was nothing really piling up towards it. I don't think there was anything prior. If you remember anything prior to Minerva having the Yakuma race specifically, we've had clans like the Nervit people, but the Yakuma were just brought in extra. And not only that, we had them kind of like brought in with a specific number, the 18 battle gods of Yakuma. And the first one we saw being, I've seen both translation Yagdo Rigora, or in what comes out in the official translation volumes as Yagd Rigola. And later, when we saw Arlok end up like burning his face in tribute to summon Ikusa Tsunagi, that it not only gave us +1 to the 18 battle gods, but also had a much larger gap of like Yagdragola was strong. Like, it was definitely S-class. Like, it was still able to damage Urza and Kagra. It was able to catch a lot of people's attention, including Jura, who obviously was number 5 Wizard Saint at the time. Still impressive, but like oh my god, I'm stuttering right here at that part of the video. Ikusa Tsunagi was so much more powerful. It's like normal sword swings were cutting mountains in half. Like, if you actually compare the shot, you can actually see I think the best panel of it, because we saw somewhere he was way bigger than what we saw later on. There was like one where like given Natsu, like he was probably like 100, 200 feet tall. And then we saw one where his head reached the clouds. I think the one where you see the full shot, where you see him literally standing next to the city and his slash, is the most accurate one. Because you get literally everything all in one spread. You get how big he is to people, how big is the environment, how big he is to the city, how big he is to the damage. And it was such a massive jump between the two that it just made me wonder who these people are. Because is this the standard thing about are there all like giant gaps between power? Are they similar to that of like celestial spirits, where it depends on how they're summoned? Like, we know that celestial spirits, the stronger the caster and the stronger the bond between the caster and the spirit, the stronger the spirits are. Maybe with the 18 battle gods, it depends entirely, like, for each one, because for some reason Arlok had to burn his face in order to summon Ikusa Tsunagi, whereas Minerva could just summon. Maybe it's different because she knew the language or something. Maybe it was a price she already paid. I don't know. We don't have a lot of information on them, and it always kind of like builds me back towards something like Abyss Break, where we got Abyss Break all the way in the Phantom Lord arc, never got cast. We saw it come back in the Tower of Heaven arc, also didn't get cast. And what's funny is Genesis Zero, we never saw its full effect, except it was shown in the anime when Natsu fought Zero, that it pretty much traps you in a pocket dimension and then slowly like numbs your mind and you just kind of fade away. And that was actually not canon, but then they did it in a Starry Sky arc, which is canon. So that just kind of solidified what Zero was capable of. Whereas with Minerva's thing, it's not the same as comparable to something like Abyss Break, where it's like it was a spell. This is a spell that summons powerful deities that also has lore tying back to another race of creatures that we haven't really seen yet. It's a really interesting thing for Hiroshima to introduce, and again, it's not like he forgot. Like he went into extra detail to give us information on them in this volume extra, and then not only that, brought him back with Ikuza Tsunagi. But it's like there's 18 of them, and so far throughout the series, we've seen 2. I mean, it's definitely something that like you could have like a spin-off where it's like, oh, this is a spin-off about Elfman. Elfman goes on a quest. Oh, what's the powerful thing about the character he fights that makes him strong? But it's not like we can't make. Maybe they don't want to make him a Slayer. They don't want to make him like some huge character, but they still have to have a good magic. Okay, give him one of the 18 battle gods. It's something I could see kind of coming up, where if like they did like Fairy Tail Next Generations, where you could have like a callback for old stuff, finally seeing more of it. I don't know, but it's very questionable, and I'm legitimately curious if Hiroshima has any form of plan for him, because it's not like something like Wall, like his race. I've always been terrible at pronouncing it. Machias. They were introduced, but we already know Wall's the strongest. We don't know anything about them outside of what we know from Wall, but they don't have an ongoing presence like that. Like, it's like, oh, not only is this powerful spell, but one of the characters that we've actually seen quite a bit with Minerva has one of them. Does she have more? What's the criteria for them? Are there still Yakuma people in the world? Like, it even says, like in this one, it says long ago there used to be a race called the Yakuma. And actually, Mira Jane can actually speak it too. So it's like, it's clearly a language that is capable of being taught to, you know, what you can probably find it in a book if Mirror Jane could have it, because we don't know if maybe Minerva's like, you know, I'm trying to think, a descendant. I almost said ascendant. I'm like, no, a descendant of the race. Maybe that's why. It's again a very questionable thing. I'm hoping to see more of it, because like I said, something like Abyss Break, where, you know, it's almost like a meme in the fairy tale community, because Abyss Break, we're probably never going to see it. And with the 18 battle gods, like I'm legitimately curious if Hiroshima has like all of them planned out, and he's just like, I don't know when to put them in, like I don't know where they'd fit, or maybe he has a plan for them. Like I said, like it'd be a good thing to put in like a spin-off, or a character, you know, someone like any side character that's not in the main cast caliber, where it's like, I want them to get a good display, put them against one of the battle gods, some guy sacrifices whatever, sums up the battle god, and they get to do some cool fight against a character. Plus, it would just give you that +1, you know, an extra tally on the, like, okay, we've seen one more battle god character. I don't know. I'm so curious. Maybe Toka will know some. Maybe we'll see one of the people within Libieris who knows like a couple. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. This is one of the things that's like, I have no idea, because so far, anytime they've been brought up, it's been completely at random. There's no build-up. We'd have known nothing about the Yakuma. We had build-up for the Nervit and like stuff that made sense, but like the Yakuma just are like a thing that Hiroshima brought in, and it's like we have no known like knowledge of his intentions of whether or not they're ever gonna like step foot in the series. Like Anksaram is like that character like we could maybe get one day, because he's like a logical endgame, but it's like, where would the Yakuma even fit? That's, I think, part of the problem. But I don't know. Also, maybe one of them isn't gonna be in Diablos or Liberis, like I said. I don't fucking know. Maybe one of them. Maybe we'll find them. Maybe one of them will be in the in one of the villages where the dragon gods live. Maybe that'll be, you know, in Viernes's probably hidden golden city, as I've already said. Like tried to like relate it to El Dorado with his gold dragon Spanish name. But anyway, drop a comment below. This is already a lot longer than I planned. Yeah, I just kind of rambled on for a little bit, just because it's one of those things that's always been sitting in the back of my mind as a fan. It's kind of like, I'm just gonna, not actually a shot though, but kind of like a good comparison. It's like, what was it, those giant monsters at the end of Thriller Bark in One Piece, where there are like these shadows with like glowing eyes, and they're probably like a mile tall each, just way off in the distance, probably 2 miles even, and yet just no knowledge of them since then. Who the hell knows? Maybe one day. But other than that, drop a comment below. I really appreciate you thumbs up the video, press the like button and subscribe button. Check out my other videos. From that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.